find myself wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be One day I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
All right, welcome to Silver Creek Elementary School. Tonight we're going to start off our festivities with our public hearing. At this time, I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:34. Then I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Balmer.
Yes, thank you and good evening. Really quick, this public hearing is about the additional appropriation for our rainy day fund. An appropriation gives you the authority to spend, not that you necessarily have to spend. In 2023 budget, we had planned to close on some property that is now rolling over 2024. So essentially, that money we had set aside in 23 is now, it's in our cash for the rainy day fund for 2024, but we don't have the authority to spend enough of it to go ahead and close on that property because when we created our budget, we were not aware that we wouldn't be closing in 23. So we are filing for an additional appropriation of 1.5 million in our rainy day fund. We've already published that before the 10 days before the public hearing. So that was published on February 8th. And today, as an action item, you will see a resolution. And part of the process, though, is having a public hearing and open it up for public comment.
And again, just to anybody out there listening that doesn't understand, this is not spending any additional money. It's just reappropriating to what we thought we were going to spend last year. But when Dr. Balmer did the budget in September, we thought we were going to close on that property in 2023. But instead, we're not going to close until this year, hopefully soon. So this time, is there any public comment? Hearing no public comment at this time, I'm going to close the hearing at 6:35. And now I'd like to start our regular scheduled board meeting. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:35 p.m. If we could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Basham and the invocation followed by Dr. Bowman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God,
Indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Dear Heavenly Father, we give thanks for all the wonderful things that are happening at Silver Creek. Please continue to provide your wisdom when it comes to making decisions and guide our minds and actions as we do the work that matters so much, and that's working to positively impact the lives of our students. We're so thankful for our dedicated staff and ask that you will always help us to keep our students first in our decision making. Thank you for a community that is supportive and generous beyond measure, and please continue to send your blessings our way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Rotate every other year teaching year 2. It's human body systems, and they actually get to dive into the 11 different body systems. They've revamped the program for this year, which is pretty cool. The kids are actually going to be like physical therapists and learning about the muscular system. And then, there'll be doctors who are trying to figure out a urinary problem in the, urinary system. And so it's pretty cool hands-on there. My year 3 class is medical interventions. So my junior level class, we follow a fictitious family that has a lot of health problems. Starting with bacterial meningitis, they learn how that's diagnosed, to how do we treat bacterial infections with antibiotics. We're on our cancer unit right now, so students get to learn about cancer, what it is. We created our own prosthetic arms from cardboard and string and whatever they could find at school, which was fun. And then at the end of this year, we actually make a box, and they get to practice like a laparoscopic surgery, and whereas they would not be actually doing the surgery, like with their hands, but using their hands for tools with a video camera. So it's kind of neat to see if they can build blocks with that. My year 4 kids, my seniors, if they take my class all 4 years and they take dual credit anatomy, they actually get technical honors. So a majority of my 22 students this year will graduate with not only academic honors, but also with technical honors, which is pretty cool that we get to offer that. It's also an incentive that they stay with me instead of going to Prosser. So they get to problem solve, but take all of their information they've learned from the other 3 years and do a lot of creating of their own things. My hope is once I get into my new classroom, I'm hoping to start investing and getting more lab equipment. We have the Veneer LabQuest, but they actually plug into the computers, and sadly the Chromebooks don't work with those. So they've actually come up with wireless, like you can do a respiration belt, so you can try a lie detector test and those kind of things. So I'm hoping to implement more of that when we get more money for technology. You guys have any questions?
No, the real world application, that was pretty phenomenal. That's awesome.
It's pretty fun.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, folks. I actually get to be behind the podium and talk to you for once. It's kind of nice. And if you haven't figured this out yet, the teachers who we have in the Career Academy doing this stuff are amazing. A few years ago, Mr. Roundtree and I, in 2 very different roles, I don't even know if you remember this, we were at a meeting where I was leading a breakout seminar, and Mr. Roundtree very wisely asked a question about what the school was doing to provide 21st century skills, technology skills, and just life skills to our students. And it's taken a while, but I can tell you they're doing all of this. Like, they're doing real life skills for real life work. That's what I'm doing too as a part of the communications department. Ms. Sappenfield and I work together to kind of teach communications to different kinds of kids who are interested in different potential fields after they graduate. Ms. Sappenfield runs the Creeks Current newspaper, as well as does all the yearbook stuff, and all of her students work incredibly hard to put those things out. The Creeks Current is published on our school website, and the yearbook obviously comes out once a year with lots of pictures and all that kind of stuff. That's a huge undertaking, and she and her students do a fantastic job of making that happen. I, on the other side, teach more of the broadcasting type activities. Hopefully you all have seen the news broadcast that my students have been putting out about every 2 weeks or so. Those are all done by students. They're shot by the students and edited by the students, and then I put it all together and send it out to Dr. Briggs to send to them. Those students are my second-year broadcasting kids. They've been learning those skills in their intro to AV classes. Right now, I only have 6 of the second-year kids who are teaching broadcasting, but I currently have 60 intro to AV kids. Obviously, not all at the same time. That's 3 classes of 20 kids apiece. We're limited to 20 because we only have 10 computers, so we have to have 2 kids per computer in order to make that happen. Not a big deal. Teamwork is a big part of that activity. So next year, obviously, we expect to have a lot more kids in the second year level of the program, broadcasting, but we're also adding a third level, which is sports broadcasting. There's lots of stuff that needs to go into that, so don't get at me about a bunch of things yet. No, we will not have a radio station. No, we won't have a TV station. Radio's dead. TV's dying. Internet. But all of those things are to say that we are going to try our very best to make sure that all the amazing things that are happening here at Silver Creek are actually shown to the public, while at the same time getting those students who are involved in their production real world experience that they can go out and start working right now. I've got 3 kids who are doing job shadowing stuff with professional groups. I've been bringing in lots of speakers, all kinds of stuff in order to get those students as much experience as possible. The school is building an amazing new studio for us to work in. It's going to be an amazing place, and hopefully that'll really change our ability to work and produce great new material. However, our biggest limitation right now is just the number of cameras that we have. So we have 2 production level cameras, 2 for 60 kids. And, one group can take those at a time. And after that camera is gone, then that camera cannot be used by anybody else. I'm currently using all of my stuff to augment. So I have lots of my own personal cameras that I'm having students use in order to complete all their various assignments. Ms. Sappenfield and I both, in a conversation that we had earlier this week, discussed that a class set of cameras that could be shared for both photography and videography, which is not a big deal anymore, that we could share between our classes would be a game changer for us. So 10-ish or so cameras with lenses could augment our ability to actually create more things without being limited by, okay, who's got the camera today? Especially when we start sending students out to follow our sports programs, that's going to become an important and hopefully necessary thing that we have available for our students. Questions?
I have a question for you.
Yeah, please.
You mentioned that there wouldn't be radio and there wouldn't be TV. Are there barriers or challenges to that?
So,
Is that something you
yes,
desire to have?
and I'm happy to talk about this at length. You probably don't want me to do that right now. The biggest barrier is the FCC and the costs involved with putting up a radio tower, getting a licensed FCC engineer, getting a low power FM station started. All those things are extremely expensive. And if you want to add like a couple $1 million onto your bid package, then we can have that conversation. But why? Radio is dying. Nobody listens to the radio. When is the last time you listened to the radio at home? Not in your car, at home. Probably never, right? And even the big stations around here that do have schools that run their radio station, most of the time they're just on an automation. They're playing public domain oldies because that's what they can afford to have. Sure, they turn it on for the radio station for ball games, and that's a great thing to do, but is it worth the literal millions of dollars for that when we can for free stream with audio and video?
Which a lot of your high schools are going to now.
Absolutely.
Podcast.
Yeah, podcast.
Podcasting is the perfect solution for that, which is we don't have the encumbrance of having a radio station, is the way I would frame that.
Thank you for that
Yeah.
clarification.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Alex.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Hi, I'm Kate Brown. I'm one of the engineer teachers at Silver Creek High School. There's 2 of us. Jeff Harrell is not here with us tonight. I'm going to talk to you about yep, you want to fix it? Okay. I'm going to talk to you about the engineer department and all the fun things the kids are doing so far this year. So the engineer department's called Project Lead the Way, which you might not have heard of. So we say PLTW is what we say a lot. As people have already mentioned tonight, what we say at SCCAP is real skills for real life, and I feel like that's what we do in the engineer department. We offer 6 courses in the engineer department. 4 of those 6 courses are dual credit courses. So students can come in as a freshman and earn college credit, as a freshman, earn college credit. The first course is Introduction to Engineering, and then the second course is Principles of Engineering. After those 2 courses, students have options. So they could take civil engineering, they could take digital engineering, earth space science, or not earth space science, I'm sorry, aerospace science. No, aerospace engineering, sorry. And then as a senior, you can take your capstone class, and they get to choose a project they get to do all year long. This year, we are excited to inform you, we have started a robotics team through FIRST Robotics. So students have been working for the last 7 weeks on creating a 4-foot robot that weighs about 125 pounds for their first competition. And so the first competition is March 16th and 17th at Columbus High School. So we invite you all to come, or any of the community members to come out and cheer on for the students. The second competition is March 29th and the 30th at Washington High School. And then later on, we get to decide if we make it to state, which would be at Jefferson High School in Lafayette. I'm really looking forward to the opening of the new facility and the expanded spaces that it will provide for our students. I believe that this new area will be better equipped to meet the needs of engineering students and hopefully the potential to prevent them from seeking enrollment at Prosser. I'm really sad when I have to write a letter of recommendation to those students when they leave me. I'm like, no, stay here. So this new facility, I'm hoping that those kids will stay. I just encourage you to think about the equipment as well as just the facility. These investments will not only enhance our programs, but also contribute to the students' retention and hopefully success. And then lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to mention the annual PLTW Summit that's in October 2024. It's a fantastic opportunity, and it's my favorite professional development. I highly encourage you to send all your PLTW teachers, as well as principals are invited, superintendents invited. I've sat and had breakfast with a couple of superintendents who just bring students in, their teachers in, and they get to go home and just be revamped with new ideas. And with this new STEM initiative with the state, I think this is a great way to use some of that professional development. I also would love to see PLTW not only at the middle school. I know I sat down with Dr. Balmer a couple years ago to get Mr. Luther at the middle school situated, and that has been working out great for the last couple of years. But I also would like to see PLTW K through 12. And PLTW does a great job customizing the modules to implement into the classroom with the lessons at the primary and the elementary schools too. And again, with the new STEM initiative, what better opportunity to go ahead and start that. So I'm excited. The kids are doing great, and the program's wonderful, and I've been loving doing it for the last, 7 years I've been doing this. Questions?
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Seth Sheffield. I'm the theater teacher and director at the high school. I teach Intro to Theater, which is where students learn a lot about social and emotional skills, but they also work on just performing and other aspects of theater. I also teach Advanced Theater Arts. In that class, I teach students about acting theorists, where they learn from a bunch of different tried and tested acting theories so they can pull for their own application. And then I teach a theater production class. Inside of that class, we focus on playwriting and performance. For the past 2 years, we have had 2 students as finalists in the Young Playwrights in Process playwriting competition with the Indiana Repertory Theater. And also in that class this year, we're going to be putting on a show, Antigone, which is a great chance for the students to perform a more classic work. I also teach musical theater. In that class, we focus on all aspects of a production that you would see in a musical. We work on some light music theory. We also do some dance elements, but we also put on a full production in that class. This year it was Freckle Face Strawberry. And And then I also teach a senior level class, which is theater arts, special topics, and directing, where the senior students have a chance to get experience directing and working with younger students. It's really hands-on for them, and they have a lot of opportunity to practice their craft in that way. Along with those, I also teach a dual credit theater history and appreciation course through Ivy Tech. I have 2 technical theater classes that are right now in the same block. One of them is intro and one of them is an advanced. Our students in our technical theater class are responsible for building everything that we have as a set for the shows. So they, again, have a lot of hands-on experience. They learn as they go. They learn how to use power tools. They learn about drawing up plans for things, how to follow plans. They also learn about lighting and sound design and all of those elements inside of that course. I also am the head of Troop 5151, which is our troop of the International Thespian Society. The International Thespian Society is the group in which we go to state from. So we compete in a couple of different competitions. Students have an opportunity to compete in individual events, which could be solo musical theater, duet musical theater, solo acting, duet acting, group acting, duet musical theater, dance. The list is endless: stage management, sound design, all of those things. So they get a chance to have industry professionals grade them on what they have been doing. This year at state, in our individual events, we had everyone who got at least an excellent, which is a ribbon. So they received a ribbon, and we had 2 groups that received superiors, which means that they qualify for nationals. Along with that, there's also the scholarship competition that is there at state. This year, we only had 2 seniors compete in that scholarship competition, and with them, they were offered over $160,000 worth of scholarships. For the after-school program, we do about 2 main stage shows a year, so that is on top of the shows that we do inside of the class. So we usually average about 4-ish a year. This year, we're doing something new. We're adding a elementary show, a show just for elementary schoolers to perform in. And our upperclassmen will be given the opportunity to direct those students, so they will have more hands-on experience there in that type of a situation. The one thing looking forward, I know that I'm really excited about the new building. Things are going to get a whole lot better as far as the aesthetic of the theater. But looking at what we need, I think it would be helpful if we had a technical theater teacher and auditorium manager position. Right now, my intro and advanced technical theater classes are in the same block. So it does not allow for me to really dig deeper into those aspects. And in theater, the place that you get the most jobs are in technical theater. So with my full course load, I do not have the time or the room in my schedule to make that possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I am back up to talk about, for Ben Allbrand, who is our tennis coach. So he was unable to be here this evening, and he asked me to read this. In the Computer Science Academy, they are currently offering 4 different computer science courses. Computer Science Essentials is their intro-level course where students work in block-based coding, developing apps they can use on their phones or Chromebooks before transitioning to the text-based language of Python. Students may then choose to take Computer Science Principles or Computer Science A, where they have the opportunity to receive AP credit at the end of the school year. Computer Science Principles focuses primarily on Python programming language, whereas Computer Science Applications has students learning the programming language of Java. The 4th class that students have the opportunity to take is Cybersecurity. which has students learn basic techniques and knowledge to protect their home computers and personal devices, as well as those that they may use on a daily basis, such as shopping on a website like Amazon or eBay. So I know Ben works really hard with those students, and anyway, they do a great job. So then we have 2 more academies, one being the Education Professions Academy, which is a very critical academy right now because we're short on teachers in not only Indiana, but nationwide. So in the Education Academy currently have 55 students. That is expected to double next year because there'll be a freshman course, so that's very exciting. Our students, in the intro course, they do a lot of observation, but then second semester, they do actually cadet teaching. And currently I'm teaching advanced courses where the whole year, they're doing cadet teaching. So at this time, I would just like to thank the administrators and teachers at Silver Creek Primary, Elementary, and Middle School for opening their classroom doors to our students to gain that experience, because they basically, our high school students are teachers' aides in those classes. And they are grading papers, and they're working in small groups. They're working one-on-one with students, and they write lessons and teach entire lessons to the class. They can earn up to 12 credit hours through IB Tech with our Education Professions Academy. So a lot of great things going on there. I guess the only ask I can think of that we might have is, like when you have students do bulletin boards, that's one of the assignments we have them do. We don't have the supplies, so either Nikki or I have to go out and either buy those or whatever. So you need borders for bulletin boards, and kids can be really creative if they have the materials to do it. So that probably wouldn't be a whole lot in the budget for that. But anyway, then lastly is our Business and Finance Academy. So that is taught by Cody Monk and myself. Cody Monk teaches the personal finance, and that is now a graduation requirement, which is probably very good for all of us. And then he teaches marketing and management. I teach more the accounting and advanced accounting, which is also our banking class, and I teach a business law class, which is dual credit through IB Tech. So we pretty much start the year out with the students updating their resumes, application letters, and participating in mock interviews. And those mock interviews are conducted by business partners in the community and also graduates of the program that are now working in companies that are coming back and serving as interviewers. And those students, it is very realistic because they are applying for a very specific job within one of our 3 school-based businesses. So we have a school-based bank, which is Silver Creek Financial Center. So they might be applying as teller if they're a beginner, or they might be applying as president of the bank. We also have Dragon Depot, where we sell school gear and school supplies. Right now, it's in an old computer cart out in the hall, but in the new space, which we're very excited about, that'll look like a real store and a real bank and a real vault. So anyway, we're very excited about that. And then finally, Creek Cafe, which is our coffee shop, healthy snack shop. So the students, they're entrepreneurs. They run those businesses. They keep track of inventory. They have to keep track of all their records. They back everything up to Excel. They have dual checks on everything. So running those businesses it's great to see the kids in action as entrepreneurs. So we do a lot of networking. Also, we go to a Venture Connector business luncheon early in the year. They also have accounting simulation packets in the classroom when they're not working in the bank or the school stores. We bring in graduates. Many of our students that are now out that are lawyers or finance people, they come in and speak. We attended an entrepreneurship workshop this year at Maker 13 in Jeffersonville, where IUS had a pitch competition. And our students didn't really practice or anything. They just kind of got put on the spot, but they knocked it out of the park. I could not believe how well they did. This is our first year to be in Business Professionals of America. And we competed against, I think, about a dozen other schools regionally. And I didn't really know that much about it. I kind of want to start out because it costs to be in these competitions. And we had 6 students, and all 6 of them have qualified for state. So that was amazing. And that's in accounting and law and interviews and extemporaneous speech and prepared speech. Last month, we just went to First Savings Bank to their headquarters. And it was mainly to see their conference room because you have built us a conference room, and that's wonderful, but we wanted to get some ideas of how that might look for us. So the students have got their wheels turning for that. This month, we are doing job shadowing, not only in the Academy of Finance, but all the academies are doing shadowing. Next week, we're going to the Omni Hotel in downtown Louisville, where Silver Creek graduate Amy Mobley invited us. She is their marketing director, so the students are going to get a tour of the Omni. They're also going to sit in the conference room and hear from all their executives, including their accounting staff. Through our advisory board, we have been put in touch with an IRS agent that's in the federal building of downtown Louisville. We will go there sometime in the next month, and they're going to talk to the students about forensic accounting, so we're very excited about that. In March, so in about 2.5 weeks, we're going to Indianapolis for the Business Professionals of America state competition. And I probably shouldn't do this, but I predict most of our students will go into nationals. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm pretty confident. So anyway, and then in April, the students came and talked about the New York trip, so I won't go into detail on that. We generally go to IUS and visit with their accounting department chair and their students in their accounting department to give our students an idea of what their accounting program might look like in college. We will go to DMLO, an accounting firm over in Louisville, in the end of April, where we have 2 Silver Creek graduates that are CPAs, Caitlin Duncan and Jordan Balls. So you can see this program is doing a lot for the future of our students. I really feel very strongly about that. And then finally, in May, we hope to go to nationals for BPA. That's in Chicago. That's going to cost some money to do that. We'll have our 27th annual panel of entrepreneurs. Our accounting fair is for our beginning accounting students, where they play Monopoly and they go through the whole accounting cycle, and they have to explain that to the community and to their parents that come in. And on the topic of Monopoly, I brought this over, but I didn't bring it up, but that's okay. It's the Kentucky Monopoly. So we sold out of our first version of that. And this is our second version. And we sold out our first version. We had 1,000 games. This one, we probably have half of them left yet, but so they're $30 a piece if anybody wants one. But anyway, we have raised over $30,000. The students have raised over $30,000 by the sales. But and that's wonderful, and that's great to say that, but I'm more proud that they went out, there's 50 spaces on this board that are local companies, and they had to make appointments with each one of those businesses and go sit down and shake hands and network and talk to them about why they should sponsor a space on the board. So anyway, that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm very proud of the students. So, and then in the summer, I go to the National Academy Foundation Conference, which also costs money, and sometimes the students get to go and present. And before I forget, Kate reminded me of one other thing. What is it called? The certifications, they cost money too. And several of our areas, including culinary and engineering, have those certifications that Prosser offers, but we don't really offer them because of funding, I guess, right? So our ask for the Academy of Finance, thank you for building such a wonderful space for our bank and store and conference room, but let's not put 50-year-old desks in there, please. I would like it to look like a very modern, professional setting for our students. Not that that was the plan to put old stuff in there, but I know sometimes when the budget's gone, it's gone, and then we just makeshift, as we do in education many times. So anyway, we're hoping to see something very professional and very practical for the students. So any questions you have? I know I talked a lot.
I don't have any questions, but I appreciate you coming out and all of you coming out. I think this is the first time as a board that we've had a window into the depth of what's going on at the high school and the level of learning and hands-on experience and real-world application, and it's just really phenomenal. So thank you for sharing all that with us.
You're welcome, and I'm very blessed to work with this group of teachers. They're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Next up, we have the Silver Creek High School Performing Arts students.
Hi, my name is Kayla Gilbeck, and I am Vice President of our Thespian Troupe at Silver Creek High School, and I will be playing the Queen in our upcoming production.
I'm Ella Blues, and I'm a sophomore at Silver Creek High School, and I will be playing Winifred. I'm Alice Wade. I'm a sophomore at Silver Creek, and I'll be playing Lady Larkin.
I am Shelby Lomax. I am a senior and I am the secretary of Troop 5151 and I will be playing Lady Lucille. My dress is not here yet.
Many moons ago, in a far-off place, Queen Agravain decreed no couples could marry until her son, Prince Dauntless, found a bride. Princes came from far and wide to win the hand of the prince, but none could pass the impossible test given to them by the queen. That is, until the shy swamp princess Winifred the Woebegone showed up. Would she be able to pass the sensitivity test, marry her prince, and help Lady Larkin and Sir Harry to the altar? Carried on a wave of wonderful songs, turned hilarious and romantic, this spin on the classic tale, The Princess and the Pea, provides some side-splitting shenanigans. So our production of Once Upon a Mattress, we will be performing in March 8th, 9th, and 10th, and then 15th, 16th, and 17th. The Friday and Saturday performances will be at 7:30, and our Sunday performance will be at 3 o'clock. We'll be very excited if anyone could come and support the theater. We work very hard on this production overall, and this is our second musical for this year, besides our one for the musical theater class, but this is one we work on like after school almost every single day, about 3 hours each day. Thank you.
Can you do me a favor and repeat the dates?
Yes, March 8th, March 8th, 9th, and 10th, and March 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Gotcha.
There'll be trailers coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before you guys leave, would you mind taking a picture with us?
Right down here in the front, Prince. Ready to go more from the back. There you go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Go, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Next up, we have Shireman with a construction update.
Oh, thanks for having me. Just give a quick update on the construction, show some pictures. I guess pictures are worth 1,000 words, so that'll help me talk fast, right? Todd's going to help me click through it. Overall, you know, we are in the first phase of the project, the yellow, which is the infill of the old courtyard, the front addition, and then on the right side, the brown is the auditorium addition. So, okay, so here's an updated photo of the front. You can see any difference. Those of you who were here last month, you know, we have the concrete steps in the front, so that's a big improvement on the front. And then we were also working on some of the waterproofing up high. In the back side, you know, the west side of the building, you can kind of see the black area up high on the addition where the old courtyard used to be. That's the waterproof, the moisture barrier waterproofing system. You know, it's like the super Tyvek basically that's applied on the building that can be exposed to the elements for months. And it's a really great product. So you can see kind of that work going on back there in the back, and you'll be seeing it in the front. And there's kind of a closer up addition of the front steps we poured going into the main entrance there in the front. So just keep. All right, so walking in the front door, right, of the building, this is your 2-story vaulted lobby into the building. Now, we've done a little more metal stud work. Those of you who were on the tour of the building, you know, last month or, you know, see this pretty much, it's close to what it was. We're just continuing to add more duct work, more stud work and things in this area. So in the kitchen, you know, you might not have seen this. We now have the cooler freezer in. The box has been built in the new kitchen. This was the old GPR room, you know, that's getting converted into the new kitchen. So that's in. And then the next slide kind of shows the serving lines, right? You can see the bulkhead up there has now been painted Silver Creek orange, right? And so that kind of work, that's where all the serving lines are going to be basically where the temporary wall is, that's facing towards where the temporary wall is in the cafeteria now. If you're facing that direction, you'd see that. And then this is in the aux gym. Now we've got our first bathroom tile up, so I thought that looked pretty nice. I got a picture of that for you, although my shadow might be in that picture, so sorry about that. But I was holding the light tree the best I could. But there's going to be some really interesting, neat tile designs all over this building when it's over with. It'll feel really modern and cool, so you can kind of see the Silver Creek blue and oranges and tile work. That's over in the aux gym over by the football concession stand area. So the new student union, so we've been adding the wood, base that goes around all this kind of wood trim, decorative wood trim, so you can kind of see some of that going in. Then you can see that they've mudded and taped all the joints on the drywall out in the 2-story vaulted student union, and they've done more bulkhead stud work in that area. Front addition, okay, so up on the second floor, you can start to see, we're starting to putting in some acoustical ceilings, so that's pretty exciting. And the grid's going in. You see we've got a lot more mud and tape on the walls up on the second floor. Classrooms, this is one of the double classrooms. Here there's kind of a partition wall, that folding partition wall that goes in the middle. But you can see there's going to be big, giant windows, a lot of natural light in these rooms, but you can see the drywall above the ceiling. We've got duct work going in. All the sprinkler lines have been run, so things are moving along. Here's the big science lab. So these are our first paint going on walls here in the big science lab, right? We've got the primer on, so that's pretty exciting to see. So I want to get a picture of that for you, but you can see they're putting up ceiling work and all that right now. So baseball, softball concession building. Here's kind of a view of it. There's Chris Roundtree's orange roof, right? So going on in the building. So it's actually Home Depot orange is what we got to match perfectly to Silver Creek orange. I thought that was kind of interesting. So football concession there. We poured a little bit of a pad there on the left side, and they got the waterproofing on it now. That's on the back side, so that work is moving along on the outside. And then the ticket entry is going up, right? So you can see kind of they got the orange softening kind of underneath going on, wrapping that, and that work is continuing. There's a little bit of fence work to do in that area too. So here's an aerial view of the new auditorium. So you can see the metal decking system on. That's that sandwich panel that has the insulation inside of it. And then later on, we'll pour a concrete slab on top of the auditorium for acoustical sound. So it'll be a lightweight slab. So here's kind of a view of it from the northeast. You can see that we've topped out the wall on the right, the block wall there. So interior view of the auditorium, you can see continuing to work on. We're leaving that wall out, that section of wall out, because we have to still dig out the auditorium pit and all that. So we have to leave a section that we can get all the heavy equipment in and out of the building. So that's why, if you're wondering, hey, why'd they stop there? Why is there this big hole on the north side? That's what's going on there. So here's the north wall. This is the view out of Dr. Ballmer's office now, I think, right? So, and Dr. Briggs, right? It's the giant wall, so 42 feet tall with a lot of bond beams. So that will end up getting the decorative metal paneling we talked about earlier in the kind of all over it and all over the entrance. So interior to the building, we've been setting on the auditorium, we've been setting door frames, and you can see on the right side there, we're starting to lay interior block walls as well. So, and the electricians are following behind, getting all their conduits and things inside there. So just a kind of a schedule update. We're working on the green part now, and of course the auditorium, which is the brown part on the right side. So, we're still on track, fall break move in for the green part. So that's 3 months ahead of the original schedule. So we're pretty excited about that. So still looking forward to that. Cafeteria, we take over the cafeteria, and then the boiler room and the 3 classrooms and the 2 temporary rooms in the old band area this summer, and we're going to start renovating those hard. So bathrooms and all those areas are ready for the auditorium to open up, late winter next year. So schedule, then the big phase, the big renovation of the existing building, that's going to start in the fall, after fall break. So we'll be moving everybody around fall break, as long as all of our switchgear and everything gets in. So that's kind of that. And then the auditorium, January 2025, we're hoping that will be open, and we're hoping we'll have the gang restrooms right next to it also available for use by the public. And the band room, we're actually trying to get the band room a little more accelerated than January. We're working to see, because that's a space they need to get out of that auditorium. So trying to get them there early. So basically, budget and quality still good, doing well on our scientific reports. Our contingency funds are still primarily intact. So we're still tracking well where I thought we'd be project wise. So that's everything I have for now, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a little update. So
Yeah, thank you.
yep, thank you guys.
Jeff, thanks again for all your hard work.
Yeah.
For doing what you're doing. One, not just be on schedule, but ahead of schedule is huge. But also thanks to the team of Calhoun for having all their teams available to subcontractors and all. So
Yeah, and EH is doing a good
And
job
EH
on the
is on the
auditorium as
auditorium,
well.
yeah.
And well, it's just great. I appreciate the staff and the team here at Silver Creek. Everybody's been working with us and working hard and I hear all those teachers talking about amazing programs. We better get them some spaces to have those amazing programs in, I guess. So kind of inspiring to get us to work a little harder, right?
That's right.
So appreciate you all.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
This time, Susan, do we have any community input? Dr. Ballmer, financial and operations update.
Yeah, good evening. We'll begin with our monthly financial report. This is actually a report that will start our budget season for 2024. So in January 24, we started our 2024 budget. So we'll just take a quick look here at our two main funds, our education and our operation fund. So beginning with our education fund, in 2024, our cash balance was $5,133,791.11. Our revenue through January, $2,030,306.78. Our expenditures through January, $2,060,426.38, with an ending cash balance of $5,103,671.51. We did see expenditures exceed revenue in January in this fund. Again, we had quite a few staff additions, also raises that went in effect in January for our classified employees was a contributing, and then also we made a Prosser payment. So I do anticipate that in this fund, we'll begin to probably see some revenue start to exceed expenditures or be close, but it will be tight just to those things. But we did see a 10 student increase in spring ADM, so you will see a little additional bump in revenue once the IDOE makes the adjustment for our education fund. Percent spent as far as our appropriation from approved by the DLGF for 2024 is 8.2%, with a max percent spent would be 8.3%. Moving on to our operation fund, beginning in 2024, our cash balance $3,538,444.73. Revenue through January $362,119.59, with the expenditures through January $645,250.32, with an ending balance of January of $3,255,314. Again, it's normal to exceed or see expenditures exceed revenue in this fund due to the only revenue coming in up till June. It is the transfer from education operation. So we do lean on that, as most districts do. That's why you're allowed to transfer up to 15% of your education fund to operation. And there's a shortfall when they changed how schools were funded. And again, taxes would not cover our operating expenses, and therefore that shortfall is made up from that EdOp transfer that we depend on. As far as percent spent there, we are as through January, we're 7.5% spent. Again, max will be 8.3%. We do want to stay underspent in this fund. That way, at the end of 24, we can continue to try to build up our rainy day. Right now, essentially through 25, our rainy day is pretty much accounted for through trying to acquire property and those things to improve our overall footprint for growth that's coming our way. So that's the monthly financial. A few other updates as far as finances and operations. We are wrapping up our audit with the State Board of Accounts. Again, been a ton of hard work put in by our finance team. So Allison, Becky, Emma, Melissa, thank you for all your hard work. I do want to thank our directors. Later in this board meeting, the consent agenda, you'll see some declaring of surplus items and also a contract for Beckert. So what our technology, transportation, food service, and facilities did while they have been working to collaboratively as identifying surplus items over time, and then instead of trying to do that individually where there wouldn't be enough value to auction them off, they have as a team, they've worked together to make it where it is enough value to engage Beckert and to produce some additional revenue. So Carrie's really spearheaded that, Ms. Hayfer, so I appreciate all her hard work on that. But again, a big collective effort to identify these items and not just, give them away or throw them away, dispose of them, but actually use them to produce some revenue for our district. Transportation, you'll notice some additional logos and numbers on our vehicles. That's because they all now have the SC logo and accounts for our district. And again, this is a final step in an extremely lengthy process of getting all the titles transferred from WCCS or West Clark to Silver Creek. I can remember Carrie having like a stack this big of title work. It was crazy, but finally all that has went through and we've got everything logoed up. They look great. And we appreciate John Pardue coming in on a Sunday to do all that work so it wouldn't interfere with our weekly operations. Also, the transportation department just wanted to give a shout out to administration and the board to let you know they really appreciate those district PD waiver days. That time is allowing them some dedication for trainings that cover very important topics, but also to prepare for handling a wide variety of challenges that face our drivers. And we'd like to give a special shout out to Adam and Stacy on the transportation team, who are fill-in drivers that are there when we have sick bus drivers or someone needs to take off or just emergencies pop up, and they are at any given time ready to cover any of the 34 routes we have in place. So we're very thankful for them and very dependent upon them daily. On the facility side, Mr. Poole's got his hands full keeping up with our facilities, but also dealing with construction. So as always, I appreciate him, but also want to give Jimmy Stewart, who's our outdoor operation laborer, just a quick shout out. He's had the task of learning how to deal with all the new fields, the turf, and maintaining, and I think he's done a great job of keeping everything looking really nice. Obviously, we're about to open up our softball and baseball season as well, so more maintenance will be needed on those, but it's been a learning curve for him to learn how to use all the machines that it takes to keep those looking good, and they look wonderful, so we appreciate him. Playground update. If you've been at the elementary lately, you see the old playground is gone. They're starting to build a new one. And we, as of now, the latest update we've had, that should be completed on February 29th. So I know we have a lot of excited students looking forward to using that new playground. So appreciate everybody's hard work with that. On our PD day on January 31st, we did the facilities and operations. Everybody had some PD going on with their employees. So in transportation, we saw them utilizing that time for some SEM theory training that was led by our very own Director of Special Education, Ms. Compton. So we appreciate her time in preparing that. We also, food service, they did some cash handling policies and procedures and pro menu training as well. And on the facility side, they used that time to go over facility cleaning training. So all top topics worth a lot of attention and some important things that went on that we could use that leverage that PD time. And our directors and a few of our administration staff continue their book study on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and it's been a wonderful book study as we work through that. On construction, again, thank you to Shireman for the update tonight. We also want to thank all our staff that came out February 2nd to tour our building. I saw a lot of excitement on the new space. It was a neat opportunity for them. And that's all I have for finance and operations. Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Dr. Briggs, consent agenda.
Okay, under number 7, consent agenda, we have letter A, finances, numbers 1 through 3. Under letter B, donations, number 1. Letter C, grants, number 1. Under letter D, personnel. Under certified appointments, letters A through C. Under number 2, retirements, letter A. Under number 3, leaves, letter A. Under number 2, classified appointments, we have letters A through O. Under number 2, resignations, letters A and B. Under number 3, terminations, letter A. Under number 4, positions, letters A through F. Under letter E, other requests for approval, we have Roman numerals numbers 1 through 9. And that is it for the consent agenda.
Hearing the consent agenda, do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
Ms. Bright makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Franklin seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Next up under discussion action items, number 8, under discussion items, legislative update. Who's giving that? Is it Rachel or Jeff?
Yep. So there's 42 bills that are going through the education, or about education. They're going through the Senate and the House currently. I'm not going to go over all 42. I'm just going to briefly go over some that I think are of maybe highest importance, but I would definitely suggest you going online and checking out all of them. House Bill 1304 is called Education Matters. It has 2 components to it, reading and math. The reading portion of it defines literacy, what a literacy coach is, and the requirements for being a literacy coach. It provides for the availability of certain grants for literacy coaches. It establishes a master-based program administered by the IDOE, and it provides that a school corporations may apply to participate in the program. One big caveat is it provides that beginning July 1st, 2027, or 2027, the department may not renew a practitioner's license or comparable license to certain individuals unless the individual receives a literacy endorsement. The math side of it, it requires the IDOE to develop guidelines regarding the use of curriculum or content that prepares elementary school teacher candidates in math instruction. And it establishes requirements regarding math instructional materials, support, assessment systems, intervention programs, and summer programs. This will go before the Senate tomorrow. So if you have any feelings on that, opinions, feel free to reach out to your legislators. Senate Bill 1, the reading skills bill, is probably one of the biggest. It's on the plate right now. It requires summer school courses for students who are not proficient in reading or they're at risk of not being proficient. If they don't attend summer school 90% of the time, then it requires them to have an individual reading plan. It also requires a universal screener, to be developed by the IDOE for K through 12, or K through 2, I'm sorry. I'm trying to go fast because I know we've been here a while. There is a retention component to this bill, and the requirements of this bill as of now would go into effect 24-25. The ISBA is pushing for it not to go into effect until 25-26. This will go before the House Ways and Means also tomorrow. And then there's the Reading Proficiency Bill, SB 6. It requires the IDOE to identify students who are at risk of not being proficient in reading and to give guidance to schools on how to support students grades 4 through 8 who did not pass the state exam or at risk. And to prove they're at risk, they would have low Lexile scores. It's on a third reading today, actually, or already had its third reading today. So that was earlier today. I'm not sure what the change has been at this point or if there has been any on that one. And then Senate Bill 185, wireless communication, cell phones, and your iWatches and things like that. It requires corporations to have a policy regarding these items and post them on their website. And I will say that Silver Creek is already doing that. And then House Bill 1104, school safety. It restricts sensory components with intruder drills during school hours that involve students. But it would also allow SROs to participate in the 1977 pension fund. And that goes before the Senate on Thursday. The last two bills, very important. We have a House Bill 1380, various education matters. This bill would require that, as of now, tuition can be prorated when you have students that transfer in. This bill would prohibit that. If a student transferred in after the first count, you could not receive a funding on them until the second count, rather than being able to prorate as you can currently. It would also allow for a charter school corporation to be established rather than just having the individual charters. It would have one overarching corporation. And as we know, they're not constrained to open door law or access to public records laws that we are. It also is a bill that shifts the burden of proof to school corporation in SPED hearings, whereas currently the proof is with the party who brings the complaint. And it would also mandate a pilot program for facilities and transportations departments in every school district, whereas currently oversight for facilities and transportation are with the corporation. So this would take out that local control. That goes before the Senate tomorrow. And then the last one I'm going to speak on is House Bill 1376, School Controlled Project Referendum. As you know, we're doing a lot of projects here, so this is one we're watching closely. It controls when a school corporation can have a local public question for a controlled project referendum to go to just being able to vote or answer this question, I should say, during a general election or a municipal general election. The which that only applies to about 20 schools because you have to be fully and within one municipality. So for most corporations, a referendum question could only be posed every 2 years. So it would really limit being able to do projects, and it could also impact the cost of doing those projects. There's many different caveats we could go down that's not a good idea. And that will go before tomorrow at 1 p.m. It goes for, I believe,
To the
third
Senate.
reading,
It goes to
maybe?
the Senate. I think.
Yeah. Is it third reading? I'm not sure which reading, but it does go before the Senate tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Bright on the legislative updates? All right. Next, we go into discussion action items number 2, which are action items. First up, we have the Holly Clark Educational Consulting, Inc. Approval. I believe that information was in the board packet, but Dr. Briggs, do you want to give us a little briefing on that?
Yes, this summer on June 5th, we'll be hosting a Summer of Learning, and Ms. Clark will be one of our keynote speakers, and this is the consultation agreement for her.
All right. Do we have a motion to bring the Holly Clark Educational Consulting contract to the floor?
I also move.
Mr. Grill makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Basham seconds. Any questions? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next up, action item number 2, which is the superintendent contract. Basically, this contract, as you know, all of our certified staff received increases back during the collective bargaining, and our classified staff received increases at the start of the year. The contract change for Dr. Briggs is to bring his contract up to equal pay. I'm sorry, not equal pay. The equal amount of pay to all administrators. But anytime you make a change to a contract to a superintendent, you have to go through the public hearing process and the approval. So do we have a motion to bring Dr. Briggs's revised superintendent contract to the floor?
So move.
Mr. Basham makes a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next up under resolutions, which is number 3 under discussion action items. The first resolution is the Silver Creek School Corporation's commitment to the state proficiency goal of 95% on IREAD 3 assessment by 2027. Do I have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Franklin seconds. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next up, under B resolutions, we have professional development opportunities for our classified employees. Dr. Briggs, do you want to give a synopsis over that?
Yes, what we want to do moving forward is anytime we offer professional development outside of the regular workday, we want to be able to pay our employees for participating in that. We currently pay our certified staff through the collective bargaining agreement. Collective bargaining agreement does not cover our classified employees, and so just for transparency purposes and also for State Board of Accounts purposes, the recommendation is for you guys to approve a resolution so that classified staff will be eligible to be paid for training that they participate in, and that would be training that's approved in advance.
All right. Do we have a motion to bring that professional development for classified employee opportunities to the floor?
I so move.
Ms. Bright makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Franklin seconds. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Resolution C, consider approval of the board member compensation, which we approved back in January at our organization meeting. We have to revise this simply because school boards follow the Indianapolis public school system. That's just the way it's always gone. They had a revision to their compensation that was approved last month. All that information should have been in your board packet from, I believe, Rachel and Dr. Briggs. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Basham seconds. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Last up under resolutions D, additional rainy day appropriation. Dr. Ballmer, do you want to just, I know you've talked about this, but just
Yeah.
go through it for the public.
Yep, no problem. This is just an extension from the public hearing we had earlier about, this is again, just giving us the authority to spend additional rainy day funds, and that is needed because we did not close on some property in '23. So again, this is not money you have to spend. This just gives us the authority to spend if we do want to, if we do close on the property.
We have a motion to bring the additional rainy day appropriation to the floor.
So moved.
Mr. Basham makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. All right, next up, we have our reports. Ms. Campbell?
Alex, you good? Okay. Good evening. Abby Campbell from Silver Creek Primary. I just want to take a minute. I know that we've been here for a little while this evening, so I won't be long-winded, I promise. But I just want to take a minute and celebrate our kindergarten teachers and classes. We celebrated on January 23rd, our 100th day of school. If you haven't had an opportunity to look on the website recently, you should check it out. There are pictures of our friends dressed as 100-year-old people, or what they think they're going to look like at 100 years old, and it is absolutely hilarious and will make your day. We also had all kinds of activities that day. Kids came in wearing shirts with 100 pieces of something glued to them. The entire day in kindergarten was based around the number 100, and our teachers go above and beyond to make that happen. So it was really fun. Then the next day, on January 24th, we celebrated the 101st day of school with our first graders. Our teachers dressed up as in black and white Dalmatian puppies, as well as all the kids. And they convinced me to wear a Cruella de Vil wig and chase the teachers in the hallway at the beginning of the day. The kids thought it was hilarious. There's also a picture on the website, although no, thank you. Please don't look at that one. But we had a lot of fun, and they focused all of their day that day around the number 101. So it's just something really cool that can only go on at a primary school. Just wanted to take a minute to celebrate that. I also wanted to just take a second and mention how grateful we are for the waiver days. On January 31st, we were able to offer our classified staff a zones of regulation training. Of course, we have trained our classified staff the last few years, but this was our first time we've ever been able to bring the training to them from the actual people, not just us telling them. It was a really beneficial day, and just really grateful for that opportunity. Also that same day, our staff went through our teachers went through a structured literacy PD. So as Ms. Bright was sharing with all of the laws regarding K2 and reading instruction, there's lots coming with that. And so this was really our first day to start our journey to structured literacy, and it was a fantastic day. So a huge thank you to Maria Jenkins for that. And last but not least, we just want to recognize the friends that have earned letter I for Pride. I meaning initiative. That's a hard thing to do in primary school. So we're very proud of these friends. In kindergarten, Sailor Campbell, Weston Urton, Nolly Coburn, Brianna Rodriguez, Raylan Augst, Wyatt Dunn, Courtney Jenkins, Roman Fitzgerald, Ava Black, Elliot Aldis, Paisley Lewis, Leo Spangler, Kanan Camilado, Scarlett Ross, Sophia McDaniel, Dawn Smith, Fiona DeTender, Bodie Hammond, Romeo Kirk, Lillian Reynolds, Avery Compton, Colton Crawl, and Adam Brown. And then in first grade, congratulations to Diana Gillenwater, Elliot Hinkle, Margot Chandler, Canyon Goldsmith, Lincoln Roberson, Daisy Robertson, Moonbeam Schweikarth, Nash Lawrence, Scarlett Glotzback, Xavier Smith, Lexi Thomas, Knox Rail, Isaac Berg, Brooklyn Clayton, Elena Gaudette, Carter Younce, Oakley Allen Cowles, Conley Wilson, Holly Purcell, and Waylon Lawrence. Any questions for me?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Myers?
Good evening. Thank you guys for having us. Some updates from the elementary school. First, Dr. Balmer talked about our playground. It is coming along. We're excited about that, to get it started and to see it growing and coming up into fruition. It was really neat seeing it come down quickly in the time lapse with that, so that hopefully we're going to put that together and can push that out soon. So that was really cool. Also, some highlights. Again, the 31st was a wonderful day with our teachers and staff. We focused on clarity. So we focused on the clarity for our safety. We focused on clarity with zones of regulations with some of our assistants. And then also we broke into some groups and focused on clarity for looking at our data, looking at our reading block, and looking at our math block. So it was a great day had by all. Also, we want to thank Miss Lola White, who has helped Silver Creek Elementary teach and learn more about Black History Month. We've welcomed in some guest speakers for our 4th and 5th grade students. Students heard from Jokari Beatty, the creator of the Besk. And if you have not looked that up, it's pretty cool. It's a backpack that can convert into a table anywhere. And he went through his whole process, talked about the Pride initiatives and what he did to bring his idea that he had in college to fruition, and has a thriving company. Now, we also will hear this week from Luke Whitehead, and he is the Diversity and Inclusion Business Partner at Brown-Forman, so we're excited to learn and hear from him. Our 2nd and 3rd graders have had a multitude of guest readers that have came in during library time and have shared with our 2nd and 3rd graders in a smaller group. Also, on February 7th, we had Global Play Day, which is an annual day that we have here, and it's a lot of fun. It's where we unplug, teachers and staff unplug, and just sit down for some free play. So kids are encouraged to use their imagination and to build and to cooperate and to go to a board game or to play Legos, different games. And so we had a school-wide rock, paper, scissors contest where we had beads and we were sharing beads. It was great. At the end of the day, we had the winners from each grade level come down and have a bead off and rock, paper, scissors contest. And congratulations goes out to Rhea Phipps, one of our 5th graders, who is our grand champion for the year. Our robotics club had 4 teams, 16 different students compete at Benford Elementary in Bloomington in January. On January 29th. Our next competition is this Saturday from 8 to 4:30 at East Washington. But of our 4 teams, when they competed, we had Spiderbots, who scored 18th in qualifications out of 50 schools. They were 5th in skills out of the 48 schools. Our DreamBots team scored 27th in qualifications out of 50th and 28th in skills out of 48. Our team Shrek were 19th in qualifications out of 50 and 3rd in skills out of 48. And our Ankle Biter Bots scored 2nd in the finals. They were 10th in qualifications out of those 50 teams and 13th in skills out of 48. So for the 2nd year for our robotics team, that's pretty impressive. So we're really excited about that. We're excited about the growth that's coming with that program. Some upcoming events this Friday. We have our Pride program where we're going to be honoring students with respectfulness. Next Tuesday, we have our Spring Pictures on February 27th. And then finally, the beginning of March, our 2nd graders and 3rd graders are gearing up to take iRead assessment. This is our first time that our 2nd graders have taken this assessment. And we're doing this early so that we can get a good handle on and a good picture of the data to be able to intervene early so that we help ensure that they pass in 3rd grade when they're required to pass. So, all right, any questions?
Not for me.
Thank you guys from the elementary.
Ms. Nunn?
Good evening from Silver Creek Middle School. I want to wish our sixth grade boys basketball team good luck. They probably have already completed their game, but they've started their Clark Floyd tournament tonight. Hopefully we'll see them compete on Thursday night. Also want to say thank you to all of our great basketball teams for a great basketball season at Silver Creek Middle School. Many nights being able to watch our teams, they performed outstandingly and had many achievements and improvements during their seasons. Our 7th and 8th grade boys won the Salem tournament, and our 7th grade girls were runner-up in the Clark Floyd tournament. And not only are they great athletes, but they are great examples of student athletes as well. We also had our students, as they talked about before, compete in the state solo and ensemble recital. Silver Creek Middle School students receiving a gold with distinction, or Aomi Magnalet, and Lydia Mitchell, which they alluded to, had a perfect score. I couldn't imagine being able to do that. Gold superior rating in vocal were Addie Johnson, Alex Dement, Ava Wilson, Isabella Lucas, Jake Dawkins, Kellen Lim, Emma Prout, Mallory Drake, Bo Sexton. For piano, we had a gold superior rating from Scout Walters. And for a gold superior as part of a clarinet choir with the high school students were Grant Bowen and Brendan Stacy. We had a silver rating flute choir with Kelson Henry, Mallory Drake, Ethan Flores, and Bella Dominguez. So congratulations to all of our students who participated in that. On our January 31st date, we worked on our pacing guides. We have really put a lot of time and effort into being very intentional in where we're planning things, going through with the help of Dr. Waters, creating a template and being intentional on where we have some of our learning goals and I can statements for our pacing guides. And our teachers really have put in a lot of work during our time on our PD days. We also worked on high ability and listened to Abby come in and talk to us about differentiating our high ability students and how that can work with all students within our classrooms. We also had some time to talk about safety and had some tabletop discussions, which was a really good time for all teachers to give some ideas and suggestions and ask questions to help make sure that we have our safety at the forefront in our day. And again, February into March, we continue with great learning in the classrooms, and we thank our staff and students for all they do every day to stay focused on learning. It's kind of hard when it gets to those everyday situations. Looking forward, our spring sports are beginning and some clubs are beginning, so please check out our announcements for those tryout dates. And remember that if you have not yet played a sport, you'll need to turn in a physical, and Mr. Bile, our athletic director, can help you if you have any questions on turning in a physical. We're excited to have softball and baseball joining our sports teams in the middle school this spring, so good luck to them. We did see some people trying out on our new fields. It was really neat to see that, and we have an excellent view when you go up to our second floor. We can kind of look out some of our windows, so on those nice 50-degree days, we'll have a great place to watch some baseball and softball for us. We'll start welcoming our new class of sixth graders later this week. They'll come over and visit our band and choir to see what happens in the middle school. Also tell them a little bit about middle school life. So we're excited to see our fifth graders coming over. It's that time of year. Next week, we will also start our Read Across America at the middle school. We'll have some fun with reading and a spirit week. And lastly, I would like to thank all of our PTO parents, volunteers for putting together an incredible sneaker snowball dance for Silver Creek Middle School. Thank you to our SRO, who's also known as DJ 50, who played some great music all night. I think everybody that was there, adult, staff, student, everybody enjoyed a great evening and fun. Any questions?
No, thank you. Thanks, Kristen. Dr. Willman.
Good evening. Just a couple of updates from the high school. We've had a lot of events go on. Of course, the homecoming dance, the sneaker snowball that we had last week with the help of the PTO went off really well. We had the 8th grade Career Academy Showcase last week, where, of course, a lot of these, all of these teachers were able to kind of showcase to the incoming 8th graders what it is that they will do to maybe choose a career concentrator. We also had a Martin Luther King celebration several weeks ago, in the last part of January, that went well with a guest speaker, a student participation, as well as the band. And then thespian results. The Indiana State Thespian Conference or Festival, we had Kayla Gelbach and Max Allison and Julian Johnson, to name just a few. Those three will qualify for internationals. They received the highest rating you can get. Also want to congratulate those singers who competed last Saturday at Perry Meridian High School for the state solo ensemble. All singers received either a gold or a gold with distinction. So those that received gold were Sarah Bronner and Julian Johnson. And then the gold with distinction, and that's the best rating, is Alice Wade, Lila Mitchell, and Ashlyn Elmore. So congratulations to them. Then we also have the rollout. We had the rollout last week, partial rollout, I guess, of this software called Enriching Students, which you signed off on the MOU last week. And that will allow us to better take advantage of our flex period. When it's fully implemented, students will have a variety of areas in which to choose from in areas such as extra help, student groups, enrichment, or quiet study. And so it will impact every single student in our building. So we moved from more of a student directed format to more of a teacher directed format. And so we're really excited about the potential that this has. And of course, we have the spring musical coming up, which you heard about earlier, as well as boys basketball sectional starting next week. Any questions? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Swearens?
Okay, good evening. Our district participated in the Metro United Way Build-A-Bed event on February 10th. So I would like to say thank you to Metro United Way, as well as our build and distribution team that included Dr. Briggs, Ashley Compton, Carrie Kahafer, Sandy Myers, Emma Nagel, and Adea Leiden. Thanks to their time and effort, we were able to provide 40 beds to students here at Silver Creek. So overall, that was approximately 39% of the beds that were distributed that day. The IDOE recently released the state-approved reading curricular materials list that is aligned to the new Indiana academic standards and science of reading research. Schools are required to implement science of reading research-based instruction beginning the 24-25 school year. So we are in the process of vetting an adoption process to ensure that our instruction is in alignment with science of reading research. And I would also like to thank the board for your support of our primary and elementary school buildings joining the Indiana Literacy Cadre. This opportunity will provide professional development to our building administrators, our literacy coaches. It will also help fund one of our literacy coach positions for 2 years. That will cover 66% of salary year 1, 33% year 2 for up to $100,000. So my team and I are very excited about this opportunity and our upcoming school year. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Waters?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for approving the Early Literacy Achievement Grant. This Early Literacy Achievement Grant was established to reward schools and teachers for improving students' foundational reading skills, as evidenced by the iRead from spring 2023. Then I have some updates and reminders from Health Services. First of all, they would like to give a big shout out to our Silver Creek Elementary nurse, Amber Harrison, who was amongst those who took the Polar Plunge Friesen for a reason, helping raise over $3,500 for Special Olympics. We also hope parents will take advantage of Silver Creek School Corporation's parent viewing of the award-winning documentary Screen Agers on Tuesday, March 5th at Ivy Tech from 5:30 to 7. No matter your child's age, there will be relevant information to help you navigate parenting in this this digital age. And parents should have received an email letter from Dr. Briggs, I think it was last Thursday evening, regarding that viewing. Lastly, the health team would like to remind you that the best way to stay healthy during the period of winter illness is to wash your hands, get an annual flu vaccine, and please stay home if you're sick. As always, we will monitor our absent rate due to illness and remain in close contact with our local health department. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Dr. Briggs?
Yeah, I just want to thank our students for coming out this evening. Thank our teachers as well from the high school for coming out and sharing the information. Very informative. Want to congratulate Mrs. Robinette on her retirement. Wish her all the best moving forward. She hopefully will make it at a future board meeting. She was unable to make it tonight to be recognized. Also, thanks to everyone who puts the time and planning into our waiver days, as has been mentioned here numerous times tonight, have proven to be very beneficial to us, and we have reapplied for next year. Have not gotten notice yet whether that'll be approved or not, but that has been a great thing. And thanks for the contract. I appreciate your guys' confidence, and we'll continue to do better. So thank you. That's it.
Dr. Ballmer?
Yeah. Just thankful for our staff. Just heard some wonderful things here this evening. But again, this is a tough time for teachers as they make that climb to spring break. It's a long stretch, but they're just doing amazing things with our students. And again, we had that testimony from our Career Academy teachers tonight. It kind of blows me away hearing all those things. So kudos to them, and thanks for all you do. And again, looking forward to that new space for them, where this space will match their talent and abilities. And again, I had the pleasure of working with Miss Robinette and wish her nothing but the best.
Ms. Bright?
Just have a few things. Dr. Briggs, thank you for the great job that you've been doing. It's really appreciated. And then regarding the bills that I read, the House bills and the Senate bills, if you support the bills or if you oppose the bills, I strongly encourage you to either email or call your House or Senate rep. So that's it.
Mr. Basham?
I'm good.
Ms. Franklin? Mr. Brown?
A lot of thanks tonight. Not much more I can say of all the great things that was already said tonight, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Just say thank you to, well, first and foremost, Ms. Robinette, congratulations, well deserved. Thank you for your time that you spent with us, and a career well achieved. Our theater department, thanks for coming out tonight. And Ms. Glazier, your Career Academy, it's just awesome to hear about it. The one thing I do want to follow up and say, though, is that if there is any thought process from any of your teachers that think that there's not money on the backside for the ancillary items, we've built in a nice soft cost budget, but that's not for us to approve. Please work with your principal and Dr. Ballmer and the teams that have been put together to determine what's going to go where. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with that. So, and last but not least, Joe, happy birthday tomorrow, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, upcoming meetings, March 12th, regular scheduled board meeting here in the GPR at 6:30. April 9th, same location and time, and April 23rd, also here, regular school board meeting, elementary school GPR. With that being said, do we have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Basham seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Meeting dismissed at 8:18. Good gracious.